Hi everybody, I'm Trin Johnson and welcome to Dust in My Eye. Today I'm out at Stony, my local metro park, and I am going to try out my new dried gouache palette. I'm super excited. I've been waiting to test this out and I thought you might like to watch. This is the scene that I am going to be painting more or less, and I am going to speed things up because it would be really long otherwise, and also it was very windy and the camera bounced a lot, and I think actually speeding it up makes that not as distracting. So I am using a pencil to sketch it in, just a mechanical pencil. It's very light and you can't really see it, but I didn't do much. I just basically did the tree line and where the lake was. I found that these big areas to get paint out of, the big palette, worked really, really well. I really do like that aspect of it. And in general, I think they're okay. They're a little cracked, but I've only had problems with the one alizarin crimson that keeps wanting to fall out en masse, just like in a chunk. But then I just put some water and stick it back down and it stays pretty well. I had them, when I first did them, there were some that were quite dried and crunchy, and then I started letting them dry slower in little Ziploc bags, and that seemed to help a lot. You can see it's wiggling a little bit. It was so windy, and it was the day before the really big wind was hitting, but it was 60 degrees in Michigan, so I had to go out and paint. And yeah, I liked the way the palette is set up, and I have used it since then, using the mixing areas on the palettes. I just often like to do it this way because it's easier to clean. Just do it on the dye bond chunk that I have in my kit. But I also like to do the sky and then do the lake and use some of the same colors because I want the sky reflected in the lake. And if I use too much of a different color and not use the same colors to do it, it can look kind of funny sometimes, I have found. I also like to work from top to bottom, and when it's something that's got to dry, so I don't smear it. So I do that sometimes too. And then you're always jumping around the page going, okay, what's dry now? What can I do next? And that always figures in. So I do think I might change out some of the colors. I was getting a little frustrated not having indigo. I thought Payne's Gray would be a substitute for that, and it really wasn't what I wanted. So I might have to fiddle around with that a little bit. And I'm not so sure that I need the cool red and the warm red. So that might change a little bit. Also, I used cerulean blue, and I think maybe I should have gone ahead and gone with cobalt, which was my first choice, and then I talked myself into cerulean, and anyway, I think I'm talking myself back into cobalt. I'm going to try out some combinations and see what kind of purples I can get and kind of go from there, which is probably what I should have done in the first place when I set the kit up. I was just trying really hard to do just a warm color set and a cool color set of the basics, and I've never really thought that hard about that before, and so apparently that's not really how I work, or I just had it inherently in my palette, and I found it a little redundant, so I'm going to rethink it a little bit, I think. But it's very easy to do because these palettes fill very easily, and they are just down on a magnetic backing, and they're metal, so they just stick. And I think I might just do some of that and do some more testing. did like the convenience of having all the colors there, not having to dig them out, and try and make sure they were all still moist. And I didn't have any problems re-wetting them. And I didn't have any problems with the consistency of the paint when I re-wet them, which is what I thought would be the biggest problem. I thought they'd all be really watery. Now, is this the most vibrant thing I've ever painted? Probably not. I have done a short since this that was a birch tree on Mackinac Island, and if you want to check that out, I'll try and put a link in. And that one turned out quite bright, and I used the same set. So I think it was just the colors I was trying to get. And when you're outside painting on plein air, you kind of feel oddly rushed. And it's not because there's people around. We had a very nice conversation with a lovely couple that left their backpack with us while they went across the island. My sister and I were both painting. And that didn't bother me at all. It's just that, I don't know, that feeling like I have to get it done quicker. I don't know what it is. Maybe because I'm always tied into a schedule. I've only got so much time out there to paint, or the temperature, or the wind, or whatever it is. So, in this day, I had choir that I had to get back home to get to so that we could all go to choir. I was really fighting to get the color of the cat tails. There's like cat tails and it's an invasive weed. I can't remember what the name of it is. But there's a lot of it right down at the edge of the island and also at the edge of the lake. And I was struggling to get the color I wanted. So I spent a lot of time going back and forth on that. And you're painting so fast you can't really step away, look, come into another room like I like to do in general when I'm painting something. It doesn't always work out that way when I'm doing a demo on YouTube or when I'm painting plein air. You just don't really have time for that. So I was just fighting with it back and forth and trying to get some level of detail, but not too much detail. I really do enjoy painting in this little tiny book, though. There's not that much area to cover, so I can't get too carried away. The setup was very small, though. I enjoyed that I just had my little Powerpuff Girls bag and something to sit on that was hanging off my bag. I think I brought a bottle of water and one of those sumo oranges that are so good this time of year. They're expensive little oranges. I shouldn't say little, they're huge, but boy are they good. And then I had my tripod with boom on it so that I could put my phone above the table and film. But that wind was just buffeting my phone around. My sister didn't think I was going to get any footage out of it at all, but I think this works okay. I hope it's not jumping around too much. There wasn't a whole lot going on in the foreground. It was the stuff down at the lake edge and some dried grass, a little bit on the golden side because it's last year's grass. And then there was some neat shadows from a tree that was out of the area that was just casting a shadow across the whole thing. That was kind of cool. So I tried to get that in there. There's some little bits and pieces of like a pavilion and some cars and picnic tables, etc. going on across the lake in the far part. But I didn't want to get into details over there very much. I think in the end I threw in a little bit of an essence of pavilion just to have something else over there. And it's kind of hard to see what exactly you've got going on until you take the tape off. It just really, taking the tape off just does so much. It's funny because I painted in the same area of the park last year in February when the weather got really warm for a day, only it was a pastel painting and it was about 100 yards to my left, down by the lake over in that area. If you want to look that up, that was a fun day. It's always nice when you get nice weather in the middle of winter, although we really did not have much of a winter this year. It's usually a lot worse than this, and we only had a few days of nasty snow, and it was very pretty snow, but it was that heavy, heavy snow. I think I was trying to go with colors that I was familiar with, and I think that I was going with colors that I use for watercolor, and going with those kinds of colors that I would instinctively want to have. And I don't think it's the same. Even though the colors are the same, you just use them differently. It is buffeting me around a little bit. Or at least buffeting the camera. The camera was on a tripod on the ground, but it was on a boom, and the boom kept bouncing. I couldn't tighten it anymore. Just little gusts. I was trying to get, not right this instance, but I was missing that evergreen green. I just couldn't make it work with these colors like I could if I had indigo. So I think that is definitely, I don't know what's coming out, but indigo is going in. I have never walked over to the island. In the winter, the water is low enough that they make like a bridge out of rocks. And I've just never been able to do it. And right now my sister's got a hurt knee, so we did not venture across to the island. One year we will. Just keep coming back to those grasses. So it's a little on the paler side than what I would normally do, but I think it's okay. I was happy with it in the end. It always just looks so much nicer without the tape. So if you like this video, please hit the like button. And if you would like to see more of my videos, hit the subscribe button. And if you want to be notified of future videos, hit the cute little bell. And if you would like to, it'd be great if you could check out my Etsy shop where I have prints of my artwork along with some originals and my cute little monsters and some of my painted tins and other fun stuff for sale. So until next time, thanks for watching.